Horsham District Football and Netball League time, and it's Peter Weir who is pretty weary actually, doing some spraying and so forth, getting out there and getting the farm work done before another lot of rain expected to head the way of those around Japarrit and Rainbow. G'day Weary, how are you?
Yeah, going well, thanks, Wayne. And yeah, just trying to get some work done in amongst the showers. And we've had a couple of weeks off footy, but wasn't a bad thing because it brought a lot of rain across the area. So it was good to see some rain on the crops and not have to worry about pulling on the boots in the wet weather.
Yeah, I bet you were pretty happy about that, but the hamstrings were happy about it too. But talking about the wet weather, the girls in the netball get to play on what's expected to be a rainy day over at Rapanya, but they've got a stadium over that way, and apparently if the girls could get a win at senior level, they'll shore themselves up of a finals appearance, which would be a great achievement in Horsham District Netball.
Yeah, it'd be the first time we've made the finals, and yeah, they got a great result there with another rainy day forecast this weekend to be able to play the netball in the stadium there. So the girls will stay dry throughout the day, and hopefully they can have a win and shore up that spot in the finals.
Oh, great stuff, girls. All the best as you play against the Panther girls under the roof. Look, it's going to be a bit tougher for the boys, so we'll come back to that and have a look at that in a moment. But let's have a look at the games to be played after the weeks off that we've had. Training sessions this week. Was there a good crowd out at training for you blokes for this particular set of matches?
Oh, there wasn't so much of a crowd there, but in terms of the players on the track, there was plenty. I was actually surprised with the amount of numbers, and it was a beautiful night for training last night, and there was plenty of energy around the group. I guess everyone's really freshened up after a couple of weeks off, and it was a great sign for the club moving into the second half of the season and finals now that the boys are really keen to go, and everyone looked pretty fit and sharp considering we hadn't trained for a couple of weeks. Yeah,
we've only got 3 home and away matches left in the season. We're playing round 11 this weekend and got 2 more to come after that, so we've had a shortened season by about 3 games, I think it works out to in the end, so that makes it really interesting. One of the topics of discussion has been that some of the either interstate or players coming out of Melbourne or out of distance who either haven't been able to travel because of restrictions and so forth may not qualify for finals. Your club could be affected by that.
Yeah, it could be. It's going to be a talking point going into the final series, where usually it'd be a 4-game to qualify for finals, where maybe this year it could possibly get reduced to 3 games, which I know would help us out, and even players at other clubs returning from injury or who are travelling from away that have been restricted by the amount of games they can play, that hopefully the league maybe looks at making it a 3-game qualification rather than 4.
Yeah, interesting comment. It is going to be a very, with the shortened season, changes things, and obviously the opportunities for players to get those games up. Kalki will get some games up, and they take on Narrajara Quantong in the match of the round. The Keys are just a little wobbly in recent weeks, and Narrajara Quantong of anything but that. The Bomber boys, they'll visit Kalki, and I reckon for the first time in an absolute long time, they'll visit as real favourites here.
Yeah, they'll definitely go there as favourites, and it should be a cracking game. It's probably a bit unfortunate. It is going to be wet because these are probably 2 of the best skilled sides in the comp, but in saying that, the class always rises up on a wet day as well, and I expect a great game of footy. And yeah, Narrajara Quantong will definitely go there as favourites, but I just know Kalki, they would have been keeping themselves nice and fit and trained up, and to get them on their home deck, I'm actually going to go with Kalki in a bit of an upset there, and Narrajara Quantong to have their first loss of the season.
Okay, Harrow Balmoral have been before the break, again the second break with restrictions this year. They were just finding their mojo. Their big forwards were starting to kick big bags. Swifts get them at North Park. I reckon the Roos might upset the Swifts here.
Yeah, you're dead right. The break coming a bit of a bad time for the Harrow boys because they were just starting to build a bit of nice momentum, and yeah, they'll go down to Still pretty confident. Still really have to find a way to win the ball around the contest, because if Harrow get their hands on it first and get it down forward, Simon Close and Michael Close, these big boys can play in the wet as well, and they'll be dangerous up forward all day for the Still defenders, and will probably kick a big enough score to have a win.
And that would actually shore up their position. They'd be 5th on the table behind Japarrit Rainbow, and that would give them 8 wins for the season. Swifts would stay on 5 if that were to be the case. Natimak United get a game that gives them the opportunity of winning against Pimpanayo, and that being the case, they would go above the Swifts into the top 6, and they play Pimpanayo at Tigerland. I reckon the Sheep Paddockers, the Ram boys, might get home here.
Yeah, definitely. They did the hard work to beat Stall in their last game, so they're not going to let a game against Pimpinayo slip now. It's going to be really tough and trying conditions out at Pimpinayo, so I expect really low scoring, but Natty Muck will do enough to get over the line.
Now, with Peter Weir on Horsham District Football, let's have a look at Caniva United, and they take on Laharam in what is a really important match for the Cougars. They've got a real chance, and we spoke to their former president last week about their club and how they've gone in the Horsham District, and they see this as a really big opportunity to win a match down at Cameron Oval. I think the Cougars will win this.
Yeah, definitely a winnable game for Caniva, and I think someone like Liam Vivian will look at the forecast and he'll be licking his lips to get down to the mountain there and have a big game. Shannon Argle will come back in for Laharam, which is an important man to come in the ruck because Hamish Bennett takes a little bit of handling in there. So that should be a great contest, and it should be a great contest with the key position players on both teams. But I reckon Caniva's midfield will be too good and get the ball going forward, and we know there's a few blokes up there that can kick a goal. So I think, Caniva will win there at Laharam.
And I reckon the boys will be fancying themselves in the reserve grade too. There's still a chance at that level to make the finals for those Cougar lads. And I tell you, that is going to put a bit in the belly, a bit of fire, I reckon, for the Cougars. And I think they'll come out and play pretty well at that grade. Wouldn't be surprised either if they have a couple of very, very good games at junior level too, because in the kids, I think at the under 14s are right up there. Let's take a look back at the other match. And this one is the big one because it's boys from Edenhope Apsley, and they have to get out there and find something. They've got to find something out of this season. They get Taylor's Lake at the Dock Lake. Can the Saints find a win, or would it be easy to say at home the Taylor's Lake boys?
Yeah, it's been a very tough season for the Edenhope lads, and they'll go across to Taylor's Lake with some confidence, but Taylor's Lake always play well there, and every team in the competition's aware of that. And I see that a couple of the old Edenhope players are now suiting up in the Taylor's Lake jersey, so there'll probably be a little bit of spirit and a little bit of extra attention going to those boys from the Edenhope fellas. But yeah, I think Taylor's Lake at home are probably still going to be too good for an undermanned Edenhope team.
Absolutely going to be an interesting time for your footballers. Japarra Rainbow Storm head across to Rapanya. This is one of the big challenges of your season. You don't want to lose in too many matches from here because the confidence level can drop, and you don't want to be susceptible to losing a place in the top six. Rapanya start favourites on their home deck, and with some outs out of your side, I got a feeling Rupp might make a tough day for the Storm.
Yeah, it's going to be a great contest, one we've looked at right from when the draw first come out, and the Rapanya boys had such a good start to the season, so naturally you look ahead to when you will come up against them because you love playing these good teams, and you soon find out your team's strengths and weaknesses and also as an individual player, so it'll be a great contest. I think Mitch Gleason's been a great pickup for them. He's a big fella. He just keeps getting to the contest and he doesn't lose his feet, so that'll be important for him on a wet day. And Elliot Kelly always plays well, and their coach Jack Musgrove's kicking goals. But, there's going to be some good contests across the ground. For instance, he'll come up against Simon Clugston, who's probably one of the best defenders in the comp. So he won't get it all his own way, but you'd expect that in a game against two teams right at the top end of the ladder.
No, I tell you, she's going to be a good one. The reserves... Well, it's going to be tough. It depends on how much depth you've got back, as we talked about, maybe some of your senior players out in terms of your travelling players like Maslin. But I don't think you can get over the line just based on where Rupp have been and what they've done this year. They look like they'll hang on to a top six in the reserves.
Yeah, they've definitely got more depth throughout the club this year, and that's definitely shown with their reserves a lot higher up the ladder than they usually are. And yeah, our twos team would have looked a lot different if we had the three boys allowed across the border from Adelaide, but that's not the case. So the twos coach is a little bit disappointed. He had to give a few magnets back to the senior coach, but the twos boys will give a good account of themselves, but Rapanya will be too good.
Oh, this is a big one in the 17s. Your lads have probably not had the season that we might have expected. They've been a bit undermanned at times as some of the boys play up to in senior level, but this is going to be a tough one. I think Rapanya in 6th place. So if they can get a win here for Rupp, that would certainly give them a real chance of playing finals footy.
Yeah, it's great for the Rupp Club too, because I think a couple of seasons ago they couldn't field an under-17s team, so it's great to see some junior kids back around the club there. And I think they'll be just a little bit too good for our under-17 boys who, like you said, have been trying hard all year, but just lacking the numbers.
Yeah, lacking the numbers. And Rupp in the 14s, second on the ladder. Your lads have had that couple of wins that they've tasted, and this has been a real joy for the club. Might be not so much joy this weekend for the kids.
Yeah, I think it'll be a bit too hard for the young fellas, but they'll definitely get the best conditions of the day, because I'd say as these boys are walking off the field, the rain will start to come across, so they'll get the dry conditions, so no excuses not to kick a couple of goals, but I think Rapaniup will end up kicking more than them and have a victory at home.
Oh, it's a big weekend. It's going to be interesting too, as always, Weary. Good to talk to you about it with some moisture on the way. The girls get to play netball under the roof. Your fellas have to play without some interstate travellers. So it makes for a very interesting competition as we head towards who qualifies for finals and who qualifies to play in those teams for finals. It's a good talking point this week here on Horsham District Footy Report, and I'll catch up with you next week.
No worries, mate.